minutes, and then we are having our last session for the day, that is supply chain sustainability. So we will join back here within 15 minutes. Thank you. Uh, it's like it will start around 3:45, so it will be finishing around 5 maximum. Hello. Yeah. Hello. Welcome back, everyone. So we are starting with today's last session in ESG and sustainability focused topics. So this session is on supply chain sustainability. So we will dwell into the world of supply chain sustainability, from conducting sustainability audits to incentivizing suppliers and leveraging digital tools for real-time tracking. This session promises both practical and inspiring. Our speaker, Ms. Harshita Likhar, ESG implementation partner at Credible, and Mr. Adil Mehran, ESG consultant, will guide us to this session. Over to you, Harshita. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah, so hi everyone. Good evening. I hope you had a nice break. So I'm Harshita Likhar, and thank you for joining this session on supply chain sustainability. So in this session, we will be diving into what a supply chain is and how to incorporate sustainability in your supply chain. Yeah, so in the next 75 minutes, he got scared. So in the next 75 minutes, we look into what a supply chain is, how you can incorporate sustainability in supply chain. Then we'll also look at the elements of supply chain, and we'll also look at a case study, and then we'll end with a demo of supplier assessment. So this is our agenda for today. I'll be introducing the supply chain sustainability. Then we'll discuss about the operations that are there in the supply chain and how sustainability can be incorporated in those operations. Then we'll talk about the tools and techniques that you can use for audits and performance review. And then we'll talk about how you can improve your compliances and how you can make your suppliers report, and how you can engage and incentivize your suppliers. And then we'll look into the real world case studies. So yeah, what exactly a supply chain is? So supply chain is basically a network of people, organization, and activities that helps in taking a product to a consumer. So basically, it's a whole process from the raw materials to logistics to the consumers. And then, what are the key objectives of a supply chain? So the main goal of a supply chain is basically to provide the right product at the right time with the right quantity, right? So who all are the stakeholders in the supply chain? Your suppliers, manufacturer, logistic partners, consumers, right? So this is the end-to-end flow of a supply chain: raw material supplier, factory, distribution, retail, and your customer. So this is basically a normal definition of a supply chain. Then next we will discuss about how you can incorporate sustainability into your supply chain, right? So incorporating sustainability, so sustainability can be incorporated at all the steps of a supply chain, right? And why incorporating sustainability in your supply chain exactly matters, right? There have been like many legal compliances that have come into the picture, so that has become mandatory to incorporate sustainability in your supply chain. And next, the very basic reason is the E, S, and G factors. So by incorporating sustainability in your supply chain, it can help in minimizing waste reduction. It can lead to fair labor practices, and it can also result in long-term viability of your businesses. So nowadays, all the retail and institutional investors are becoming more and more inclined towards organizations that are leading sustainability related initiatives. So if like any organization wants if any organization is into the sustainability related initiatives, or they are doing sustainability related projects, so they can grab the attention of the investors and might get better investment opportunities. So in 2021, Morningstar have published a report in which it mentioned that the sustainability indexes are performing like far better than the traditional indexes and funds, right? So you are basically grabbing the investor branding, right? And also you will get better investment. So I think it's a kind of a win-win situation here. So when we talk about the key elements of a sustainable supply chain, these are the 4 key elements that we look into. So a sustainable supply chain should be transparent. You should know where you are sourcing your products from, whether it is like ethically sourced, or how it is impacting the environment, like what exactly goes into building that product. Next, compliance. So there are many regulations that have come into the picture. So you should also be aware of the fact that the products that you are sourcing are meeting these compliances and regulations. Then next, performance. So you can set certain KPIs and track their performance, like reduction of waste, lowering of water consumption, ethical labor practices. So these are the kind of KPIs that you can set, based on which you can set goals, and this is how you can track the performance. Next, engagement. So in order to create a sustainable supply chain, it is really very important to engage with all the stakeholders, right? So collaborate with your suppliers, customers, and all the stakeholders that are there in your supply chain. It's really important. Otherwise, why will they care? Like, why will they report, or why will they be transparent, right? So these are the basic elements of a sustainable supply chain. Next, so now we will look into the different stages of a supply chain. Remember that sustainability can be incorporated at each and every steps that are mentioned here, right? So we'll start from planning, that is material requirement and sourcing. So here as well, here as well, sustainability can be incorporated. You can look into where you are sourcing your products from, whether it is coming from the ethical source, or whether it is leading to like more water consumption, or whether their logistics is leading to more waste or more GHG emissions. Next, procurement. So here also, and in the manufacturing as well, here also sustainability can be incorporated in transforming raw material to finished goods. So you can incorporate such processes that can lead to reduction of energy efficiency, lead to reduction of waste, right? And then the distribution, that is storing and transporting. So this is a very important step in our supply chain, right? And this can lead to like more greenhouse gas emissions as well. So here also you can incorporate sustainable practices, like better logistics, green logistics. So it can help to reduction of GHG emissions. And customer services, so you can incorporate activity like buyback system, recycling, like you can educate your customers to recycle, like H&M does that. You can you can just return your used products, and you can get a replacement, you can get a newer product if you return the older one. So this is how you can enhance your customer service. And then obviously the disposal end of life part, right? So here also, by incorporating recycling and closed loop, you can incorporate sustainability in disposal as well. So next we will look into what is the roadmap for operationalizing sustainability in the supply chain. So first, supplier engagement and collaboration. So supplier code of conduct. In this, what you all can do is you can clearly mention in the contracts that these are our goals, these are our targets, and the suppliers should adhere with these goals. So some companies are doing these like Nike and IKEA. They are clearly and Patagonia is also doing it, right? They clearly they work with the suppliers. Unilever is also doing this. They work with the supplier. They clearly pointed out that these are our sustainability targets, and you have to adhere with it. Otherwise, you can't work with us. So next, supplier training and capacity building. So you can run supplier training and capacity building programs, like Walmart also does that. So Walmart has their own like supplier building and capacity program, in which they tells these are the best practices that you can adhere to, and that you can use for making a sustainable supply chain. Joint sustainability initiatives. So you can work along with your suppliers on these joint sustainability initiatives. So like improved packaging, right? More sustainable packaging, reduction of waste. So IKEA does that. They work with their suppliers on improvement of the packaging materials. So this we'll cover in the case study for IKEA. Then next is incorporating sustainability into contracts. So sustainable clauses can directly be incorporated into contracts. So Apple does this thing. They directly they have mentioned in their contracts that these are the goals and targets that we have taken, like carbon neutrality by 2050, and if you are adhering to these goals and targets, then good. Otherwise, you can also like tell them how to reduce your emissions or waste, and how to adhere to the sustainability aspects, all the 3 pillars of sustainable development. And then you can also enable green procurement policy. So Google have done this thing, right? They tell their suppliers, they have this system of what do you call it, they have this system of they remove their suppliers if they are not adhering to the SDGs, right? So even if they are low cost suppliers, they does not take into account those suppliers. They directly eliminate those suppliers. So they strictly adhere to green procurement policies. Then setting clear goals and KPIs. By setting measurable goals and KPIs that revolves around sustainable development goals, all the 3 tiers of sustainable development, you will be able to manage and measure where you stand in terms of sustainability, and you will be able to improve on that, right? And then technology for monitoring. So you can create sustainability dashboard with the help of sustainability dashboard. Nike also looks into where they stand, what exactly their KPIs are. Like in this particular month, we have done this much of water consumption. In this particular month, this supplier have led to this much of waste, and so on and so forth. Next, you can include AI and data analytics for the monitoring purpose, and circular supply chain approaches. So many companies are doing that. Again, IKEA and Google. So they are also into circular supplier chain approaches. H&M is also doing that. Just like I mentioned earlier, the buyback program. Then collaboration with industry stakeholder. So if you want to incorporate sustainability in your supply chain, collaboration is the key. You can't, like without collaborating, I don't think it's possible to like incorporate sustainability and to be like it's very difficult to incorporate sustainability. Because why will they care, like I said, right? Next, regular audits and continuous improvements. So audits like ISO 14001 that looks into environment and social aspect as well. So these kind of audits can be conducted for the suppliers, that can again helps in eliminating your suppliers that are not performing well. So next we will look into the tools and techniques for audits and performance review. So sustainability audits, how sustainability audits can be conducted. First, site assessments can be done, from where your products are coming from. Then supplier questionnaires. Questionnaires can be shared to suppliers. Like there are now BRSR core assessment as well. So you can launch these assessments so that your suppliers can fill into those assessments, and you can like know where exactly they stand, right? In terms of E, S, and G, where exactly they stand. I will show this to you in the demo part as well. Next, the third party certification. So there are certain certifications like ISO 14001, Fair Trade, and SA 8000. So that can be conducted for your suppliers. And then the performance review. So like I said earlier as well, you can set different KPIs and also scorecards for measuring like different KPIs like waste reduction, GHG emissions, right? Ethical labor practices. So in order to measure your performance, right? And then benchmark environmental impact assessment can be done. So these are the steps for conducting sustainability audit. First, pre-audit planning. So first you have to define your objective, what exactly your objective is, whether you want to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So it can also depend on what goals you have taken, right? Or you want to reduce waste, or you want to, or whether ethical labor practices is important for you. So materiality also comes into the picture. What exactly which topic is exactly material to you, which topic is exactly important to you, right? So based on that you can define the objective, and then you can develop an audit plan and notify the stakeholders, right? And then you can identify your key suppliers, who all are the key suppliers, and what are the area of risk. So, so this we'll cover in the BRSR core part as well, how you can identify your key suppliers, because BRSR core also have mentioned something about this. So then next, audit execution, right? So you can help open meetings, like you can give them surveys which they can fill, right? And they can you can also do the interview documentation process, right? And you can assess them based on these KPIs, right? So this is how you can do the audit execution. And then what can be done, like post audit report is prepared, right? And then you can identify where exactly are the gaps, and you will know where you can improve, right? And then it is really important to also implement these actions, right? And you also have to verify how effective they are. So BRSR core is a very important regulation, especially for supply chain, that has come into the picture, right? So it is mandatory like from next year. So earlier in BRSR core, like I said, how you can how you can set who all are the suppliers that you need to report for, right? So as of now, there has been a change in BRSR core. So according to that, now all the suppliers that are encompassing 25%, 2% of purchases and sales by value, minimum 2% that needs to be accounted for, and like maximum you can take it up to 75%, right? So you don't have to report for all your value chain partners, right? So that is not mandatory. And then mostly it was covered in the earlier two sessions, right? So KPI reporting needs to be done, and yeah, so it is mandatory from next year. It is not mandatory from current year. So these are the important KPIs that are there in the BRSR core: GHG, emissions, green energy, enhancing employee well-being, and all of these. So these are the core metrics for BRSR. EUDR. So EUDR is also great regulation that has come into the picture. This has been released by the European Union, right? So as per EUDR, Europe now doesn't want any supplier that comes or that supply their products from a place that is prone to deforestation, right? So if you are a supplier, right, that is purchasing their products from such a place that is prone to deforestation, you might not be able to export your products to Europe. So uh, and this is applicable to these commodities, that is coffee, cocoa, beef, soy, palm oil, because these are the products that mostly leads to deforestation, like Adil mentioned, like RO mentioned in the session earlier, that agriculture is the major reason for deforestation. So because due diligence has come into the picture, that's why it has become mandatory for the companies to look into what the suppliers are doing, right? Whether they are sourcing their products from the deforested land or not. And because of that, there are certain implications, right? So stricter traceability, you have to show, you have to report from where your product is coming from, right? And all each and every step, whether it is complying or not with EUDR. So that also you have to report, right? Then next is the CBAM. So CBAM we have already covered in the sessions earlier, but I'll quickly again explain it. So CBAM is the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism. So it was also a great regulation that was launched by European Union, right? So they have addressed carbon leakage by applying carbon prices. So they have covered such industries that are highly polluting, like cement, iron, steel, aluminium, fertilizer, electricity, and hydrogen. Right now, if you want to export in the EU, so you have to show the CBAM certificates that includes your emissions, right? How much emission your company is doing. So your CBAM certificate needs to include that, right? And you must also align with the European Union carbon pricing, right? So it should have the same level of carbon pricing that is there in the EU. And if you are adhering to that, then your cost will be like, your cost will be cut from that. And what are the implications, right? So it encourages lower carbon production methods globally. and it requires emission reporting and compliance documentation for exporters to the European Union. So this is mandatory, right? CBAM have because CBAM has come into the picture, it has like globally you have to now anywhere in the world, if you want to export your product in the EU, now you have to lower your GHG emission and you have to adhere to it. So it will, it's a great initiative, I would say. And yeah. So next we will talk about what are the challenges and opportunities of incorporating sustainability in your supply chain, right? Since supply chain have, yes. Yeah. So, if you want to yeah, EU.
Not companies you are exporting to Europe,
No, if you are exporting to Europe, then then it is mandatory. You have to show.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, what have happened is, so MSMEs are there, right? In India also. So these people were exporting large amount of quantities to Europe, especially in the steel sector. One of the main industries in India. India is the second largest producer of steel, right? So we do a lot of finished products to European markets, right? Now they are forced to do this. They have to do a GHG inventory. So now a lot of clients even come to us, right? They have no knowledge because they did not know this all existed. Even though BRS are reporting everything existed in India, but they are forced to do the reporting, or they get cut off by their European counterpart. They will not hire, right? They will not take any contracts from them. So what Europe is trying to do is basically, for example, if it's Germany, right? Germany is trying to get steel from the lowest emission possible, so that they're setting a standard key. You have a lower emission value, we'll take steel from you. That's the whole goal here. Yeah, few sectors. So the sectors identified are hard to abate sectors, basically. Yeah. Yeah. So the inventory is also a little bit tougher because scope 3 ka like 2-3 points also come into play. Yes.
I have a question here. Like if you can see, all the European companies, rather European governments and companies are imposing, restrictions on the Asian countries' manufacturing practices. But should we not keep in mind that they themselves have shut down all units? There are no industries left in Europe, and they are putting restrictions on the countries and companies who are into the manufacturing areas. They are feeding them with the stocks and the food and the clothes and everything.
Correct.
Yeah. So don't we throw a question to them that then why are you shutting down? Because you were not able to control GHG and whatnot. Right? And now we are trying to survive.
Yeah.
Correct.
Basically, they made it a competition, right? To everybody out there. If you want to bring some product into our land, you bring it clean, or you don't bring it at all.
So don't you think we Indians are very good in managing and manipulating these things?
Right. So what has happened is, what trend I'm seeing, right, in service, the prices are going up because it has to be cleaner. So there are projects being implemented, so the price is slowly going up. And European clients who wants more green product are forced to pay more right now. So that is also happening on the side.
Yeah, but that is what that price leverage has not been given by the clients.
Correct.
That is also happening because they themselves are struggling because of the cost of living and the other things in the other problems which are going on in their economy. Right. So what's happening is that we are burdened with the price pressure. Yeah. We are burdened with the ESG requirements. Though I'm a core ESG professional, so I'm not against ESG. Okay, but what I'm trying to say is that somewhere that has to be balanced.
Yes. I think it's so true, ma'am. So true.
So I have a comment on this. So we are reporting on CBAM and for our aluminum foils, films and foils. We are from packaging business. I think we need to understand the journey in Europe. It's not the CBAM came overnight. They have transitioned from ETS to CBAM. So although they have specified the emission level for the hard to abate sector and the product specifically, but still the companies from India, they will not able to compete in the European market because their domestic industry, they are far below than the CBAM level. So it's not that just meeting the CBAM requirement, to just avoid the penalty. It's about the competing with the industry in the European market, and that's below the CBAM level. And there are a lot of conversation. Some countries are putting it a trade restrictions measure, and some countries are also fighting against this measure. But this is all happening at policy level. Even India, as on date, Indian government is in the plan to execute such equal measure in India. The objective is that why Indian companies should pay penalty in Europe. We should pay in India anything we are exporting, and that money will be used for the sustainability, which is NDC we have decided. So that is happening at top level, but I think individual company cannot have the power to negotiate on CBAM. We have to fall in line, and this is a measure which is actually pushing sustainability to the next boundaries. So that's the practice is happening, and it is applicable from March 2026. So draft report we are submitting. Then from March 26 onwards, we and any company supplying to Europe, they will be penalized.
And just to add to what ma'am said and the gentleman said there, they are converting all of these CBAM regulations, all of them as a non-tariff barrier. That is it. It is nothing but a non-tariff barrier for them. Now they have transitioned, their industries have gone down to a level where they can produce steel at certain emission levels, and their entire value chain has been transformed. They think that for us to compete in that, let's put that as a non-tariff barrier, because in WTO, tariffs can be challenged, non-tariff cannot be challenged, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to convert that into a non-tariff game.
So now we'll look into what are the challenges and opportunities if you incorporate sustainability in your supply chain. So supply chains have very complex supplier networks, right? So managing that is really tough. And to top it off, incorporating sustainability at each and every step of your supply chain is difficult and high initial investment. So if you are investing in green technology, it might be of higher cost, right? So that's why it can lead to higher initial investment if you are going to include sustainability in your supply chain. Then data and transparency gap issues might be there, right? Because collecting data from your suppliers is really very difficult, right? And whether the data is correct and where the supplier is sourcing their products from, so it is very difficult in the initial stages, right? And supplier resistance. So since since suppliers are mostly the MSMEs, right, and SMEs, so they are mostly not aware about this and they might not care about it, right? So that's why supplier resistance might come into the picture. But what are the opportunities? If you incorporate sustainability in your supply chain, it may lead to brand differentiation, right? Like we discussed right now, there are different regulations that have come into the picture. So if you are bringing sustainability into your supply chain, your brand might outstand, like brand might differentiate from the others who are not doing it, even though it's difficult. But then again, long-term cost saving. So if you look into the long-term picture, right, incorporating sustainability leads to long-term viability of the company, right? And it also catches the attention of the investors as well, since they are now drawn to sustainability related initiatives. Regulatory and investor confidence, like I said right now, right? So if let's say in India BRSR is mandatory, right? So it can gain your investor confidence that yeah, they are reporting on BRSR core, right? And it can like you are also complying to these regulations. right? So this can be an opportunity, and obviously market expansion, right? So whatever we say, but these regulations are coming into the picture, right? So we have to report on it. So if we are not if you are not reporting on it, then it might lead to like loss of market at that particular country. So yeah. So how do you engage and incentivize your suppliers, right? So building relationship is really very important, right? Relationship with the suppliers so that they can also help you with the reporting process. You can get better transparency, right? You can also educate them, right? You can also incentivize them, educate them on the what all best practices are there for sustainability, right? And then incentivization. Obviously you will have to like incentivize them in such a way that you are providing them with longer contracts, right? Or monetary incentivization, some kind of bonuses. Then contractual stipulation. uh, like I said earlier as well, your sustainability goals and targets can be incorporated or should be incorporated in your contracts with the suppliers, right? Like emission reduction targets, if you have any, like any kind of targets that you have set for the year, so that can be incorporated in the contract. Then supplier training and capacity building. You need to train suppliers on the supply chain best practices, right? And how technology can be adopted for incorporating sustainability in the supply chain. Then this process can also be followed, plan, do, check, act, right? First, planning your sustainability goals, like reducing your waste by 10% in 12 months, and then adjust based on the finding, and then implement all those sustainability goals, right? That how would you reduce your waste? By reducing packaging, like by improving on packaging, right? And by optimizing your logistics. And then you can measure what it has led to, right? Whether it has led to decrease in emissions, it has led to like a reduction of waste, and then you can adjust based on the findings. Then again you can like go again and planning your sustainability goals accordingly, and this cycle will go on. So next we are taking a case study of IKEA, that is a classic example of supply chain sustainability. So this is where IKEA stand as of now. So yeah. So this is what their value chain looks like, right? IKEA goes really deep into their value chain. They don't stop at their consumers, right? They also look into how their consumers are doing, right? So whether they are recycling the product, right? And what they are doing exactly with the product that they have, right? So this is how their value chain looks like, right? So as you can see, this circle, this is within the IKEA value chain, and this is what is happening outside the IKEA value chain, right? The product is getting recycled, then remanufactured, then refurbished. This clearly shows that in all of these steps of supply chain, the sustainability is being incorporated, right? They are recycling their product, then they are remanufacturing at the production stage, then at the product transportation and retail stage, they are refurbishing, right? And then reselling as well, right? And what they and after the product reaches the consumer homes, what is happening there? Whether the product is getting refurbished, or whether they are reselling to a third party, or whether it is getting remanufactured, or whether they are giving it out for recycling, right? So they are going really deep into their supply chain. So IKEA's commitment to sustainability, this all started, right? IKEA had set up a goal that they want to increase the total revenue, like they want to double their total revenue by 2020. So this goal they had set up in 2012, right? After which the CEO of IKEA have onboarded the chief sustainability officer in IKEA, and they launched this project called People and Planet, right? And they have launched like many sustainability initiatives, like the I way, which is called the IKEA way of doing things. So basically, it is a supplier code of conduct. So it is not only a audit mechanism. IKEA way of doing things stand for, so the major product that IKEA uses is wood, right? So in IKEA way of doing things, they make sure that the wood is not coming from a place that is prone to deforestation, right? It is coming from a certified forest. And earlier, so right now what they used to do, what they are doing is they are planting their own forest, so they know from where their product is coming from, right? So there is a whole transparency, they know the quality of their product, and again they are planting. So when they have onboarded the chief sustainability officer, so he had this what you call, whether you call it a hypothesis or it was a practical approach, but uh, the resources uh, the resources are like it is depleting, right, on our earth. So they had this vision that by 2030 their consumer base will increase to 3 billion, but the resources on earth is depleting by 150%. So how will they cater to their consumers in such a way if the resources are depleting and their major product is wood, right? So that's why they have come up with such sustainability initiatives like People and Planet and iWay, right? So that they they wanted to incorporate sustainability, and they want to grow as well, by they wanted to grow in revenue as well, right? So without incorporating sustainability into their business, it would not have been possible in any way, right? So these are the initiatives that they have taken. So iWay, that is the supplier code of conduct, in which they make sure that their wood is coming from a place that is not prone to deforestation. Then there is cotton initiatives and forestry standard, right? And then they have this opti ledge. So as I said, their major product is wood, right? So opti ledge is basically alternate to wooden pallets. So in supply chain, logistic is also a major issue, right? So they have enabled this technology called OptiLedge, right? Where the product is an alternative to wooden pallets, it is more lightweight, plus it is recycled, right? So it has led to reduction in cost, led to reduction in emission, and also reduction in waste as well. So, plus, they have this program as well called reverse logistics, that is the take back program for packaging. So, if you are a consumer, you can give your packaging back and it will be recycled. So, these are the initiatives that IKEA have taken, and whatever I have covered in the session earlier, we can clearly see that IKEA is the ideal example where it is incorporating sustainability in all the steps of their supply chain and how it has grown as well. So this chart shows the year in which they have incorporated all of these sustainability initiatives, and you can see the sales here, right? So if they would not have incorporated these initiatives, they wouldn't be able to like cater to their customers as well, right? So yeah, this was about the case study. Then next I'll start with the demo. Give me a minute. Yeah. So what I'll be showing you in the demo is, first I'll show you the supplier assessment. So this is our credible platform, and this is how the supplier assessment looks like. So basically, here you can create your own supplier assessment. So I'll just quickly create an assessment and show it to you. Here you can set the expiry date as well. That by this date you want the suppliers to fill this assessment. Here you can just select whatever assessment it is, standard or custom. So you can also add your custom assessment as well, and you can add the vouchers. So these vouchers will be one of your suppliers or as many as you want. So these are the ESG questions. So I have selected the standard assessment, that's why these questions are reflecting here. Then I'll click on proceed. Then here you can just load a CSV of your suppliers and of all the supplier list, right? And a mail will be they'll receive an email, right? So after receiving the email, and logging into the credible platform, this is how the this is how the platform will look like to the supplier, right? So they'll be able to see what assessment is launched and what exactly they needs to fill, right? So in the status you can see that the assessment is pending since it has not been completed and submitted. So if you go into the action, you can see all the questions here for the supplier assessment. So the supplier can fill in these questions, right? We have guide enabled here as well. If you click on the I button, you will find the guide, right? So it gives you an explanation of what needs to be filled in this particular question, right? And after the supplier fills in all the required information, he or she can just click on submit assessment, right? So this is the view where you can see how many of your suppliers have already filled in the assessment and how many of them have completed the assessment, how many assessments are incomplete. And then you can also review these assessments by clicking over here. You can just directly approve or reject this assessment based on whatever criteria that you have. Plus, if you click on the results, you will get these kind of analytics, right? Where you can see the scores for each and every supplier. So based on the category as well, based on the category of suppliers as well, you can see the score, and you can also filter it by supplier. So if I go to by category, and I'll just so these are the category real estate contingent, and if I click on any of the score, so this is you can look at the supplier names over here, you can check their scores, and you can also see how the particular supplier is performing. So these scoring can be like custom done or can be standard. Similarly, you can also filter by the name of supplier.
So basically here it's basically on rhetorical questions, so it's just 1, 0.5 depending on the answer they have given, right? If it's an answer correct question, it's 1.5 for like partial answers over, like we have a policy but not a procedure. So it's a system generated score which you guys make, right? Like on the board. Right. So this is we have client has a different requirement. Correct. So it flows from the client, right? Correct. It flows from you are not giving by yourself. That's what I'm saying. No, it depends on how the client wants to take up that problem. If they want to act as a consultant part, we do it like accordingly. They can customize their score weightages. Which means exactly.
No, it was informed that it can be customized also, scores. How come?
Yes. So right now what you're seeing is a very basic score. Sorry, very basic score on like 1, 0, and 0.5, right? Which we initially developed. So, but this is a very basic way, like rhetorical question type. Yes, no, right? No quantitative questions, or we are not scoring based. So right now clients have come up because this is major, right? Because of BRSR core. So which has quantitative questions as well, not just the rhetorical questions earlier, which we used to have. So right now we are developing, whenever a client wants to do it in a certain methodology, they want to adopt like a DGSI methodology, like where each of the topic has a weightage, like a material topic wise weightage scoring. So any kind of scoring that they can give us, we'll do that. Otherwise, we also do the same, a DGSI framework scoring and kind of things. So depending on the client asks, we keep changing the methodology of scoring. Right, because we don't have a standard set of scoring as per BRSR code. That's the problem. So we give out that and we put that in the platform as well. Key, this is how these are scored, because we want to know, right, or how the persons are scored depending on company to company. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, hi. So my question is, I have two questions actually. One is, the earlier BRSR course spoke about trading houses and it left it at that. There was no
Correct.
definition provided.
Correct.
Has there been any clarity on that yet? And secondly, also the second question is, for lending companies, there is also a very important part of value chain is co-lending. And the entire value chain is pretty much different for a lending company and for a manufacturing entity. So, in your experience, how have you, of working with any of the lenders, how have you dealt with that?
Right now, lender part we have not touched, to be honest. Like mostly it's on the manufacturing company side, right? And we do have like IT services kind of clients also, right? Those are there, but not directly lending. Lending changes the game altogether, right? Your downstream becomes a whole. And so right now we have one client which we are working within financial services. This year it's the supply chain that's being launched. Previously was done mostly, yes, it's on hospitality and manufacturing sector, as I told. But yeah, it would definitely change because your downstream, your entire thing changes, and it depends on like your investments and how it goes down the value chain. So yes, it will be there, but yeah, again, the most thing is that this is completely customizable, right? It is not something which is very sector specific. We have the core questionnaire as we have a very standard questionnaire, but the problem is we don't have a scoring methodology for the standard questionnaire that's out there. So for a manufacturing company and a lending company, we are forced to do it according to a standard framework because we don't have, but the questionnaire remains the same regardless it's a lending company and the trading house. I don't think like trading house ka standard definitions are there definitely, right? But not, I don't think BRSR still have defined what's, what do they exactly mean by it. Even in the current industry standards that is there, I don't think that definition has still come up. Yeah. We have interpreted it, but not, correct. Same problem, right? How do you, like you got all this, right? You are mandated to report all this, but how do you report it, right? That nobody have told. If you have 1,000 supplier, would you put 1,000 pages into the whole thing?
And then it says 75% of purchase / sales. So now
Purchase
how do we
plus sales.
no, or
Purchase
na?
and
And
it's
hai
an
ki
and.
aur hai?
It's an and.
Okay.
So you need both.
Okay.
So that's the problem. So your supplier list will be so big. They have reduced it up to 2%, but still 75 it's too much people, right? We have people coming to, because most of our clients are listed companies. So average length is around 600, 500, at least 200 suppliers. So it's almost next to impossible. 75% of your upstream and downstream activities.
It is both, is it? Purchase and. I thought there was a slash in
it's an and. It's an and. It's an and, not an or.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why they came down to 2% cumulatively. Yeah. come down to 2%. But that can change. Maybe that's for the initial phase. So in 2% only you will have large players. You will not have MSMEs. But in 75 you will have MSMEs also. Smaller players also can come into the whole mix. So then the problem starts. Then you will have like exponential increase in your total number of suppliers. Hmm. You have to report 75%. You have to respond ki there. But problem is how to respond. That still have after you get the response, right? How to respond to SEBI after it? Like what should you do?
Second is those 75% whosoever you reach.
Yeah.
Total if you have got 100 suppliers,
Yeah.
upstream and downstream.
Yeah.
You have to reach out to 75% at least.
Correct. Of your total turnover. Correct.
Yeah. And 75% have to respond. They have to respond.
They have to respond, yes, to you. You have to make sure they respond. That's the whole implication. Yeah, that's the biggest challenge. Definitely, like any previous assessment launch, right? It's about getting the answer. We are not getting more than like 25-30% to answer. It was not a mandatory thing. Still, 30% itself was, we called it a win because we had to, go behind each of the supplier, right, to get the value. And mostly it's, they also don't know how to do it. That was the biggest comment. So we did a feedback. That was the highest feedback. Yeah. How much?
Responses of 130 odd.
Oh, that's good. That's still good. It's around 40%. Exactly. So imagine 600,000. Capacity building is going to be the biggest part. Correct. That is the biggest part.
Should be the next part, right? I was waiting for that.
Correct.
So for example, if the responses come and then you find the areas of improvement, so how do you proceed through your platform?
Let's see. So after launching the supplier assessment, here, like I said, you can filter by category or by the name of the supplier, right? And based on the score, you can, I'll just click on one. You can get the list of supplier and what all scores they have earned, right? Yeah. So here, what you can see is on ESG part, how this particular sector is performing, right? So this is also you can see here. And then next, you can also get the supplier list over here. All the suppliers that have submitted the assessments. And here you can review the assessment and you can also like put your comments over here. Like you can see here, it is mentioned, right? Name of the company, please provide the policy documents. So these kind of comments also you can put here. So this particular assessment has been rejected.
So you can send back, right?
Yeah, we can relaunch.
We can, yeah.
See, sir, just to
So
answer,
here you can see the question
one
wise.
second. So just to answer that, right? When you are before resending, you are able to understand which area they are lacking. So you can have that comment section and everything. So you can exactly target a group of supply because again, it's a large pool, right? 100 maybe 50 did well, right? You don't have to target that. So what to target is also possible. Also, we provide that I button there, right? It keeps changing according to the supplier. So for them to see what is exactly required, either emission calculation is what they require, then more highlight to that. So like that also we are able to do it.
Keep changing based on the supplier, so that is.
No, so like examples, yeah, we are able to provide, we can, guides are customizable basically. So we can give
So
specific
let's say
guides
if you are launching a BRSR core assessment for your suppliers, so guide will mention exactly what needs to be filled in that particular section, so that supplier can look into that and can fill that section accordingly.
given, so lot
Yeah.
of things to help that particular set of supplier.
Hello. Yeah, if you take only the purchase part, so 2% and above per supplier we have to cover, right? And we have to cover 75% of the purchase. So maximum we can cover suppliers is 38. Is my understanding correct?
No,
We can cover 38 suppliers only, right? In that case.
38. I didn't get that. No, that's not.
Yeah. 75%. And we have to target. No, but there is a clarification that 2% and above suppliers only we have to take in order to avoid this
Yeah,
tail only.
that's the latest update.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that has limited number.
So, yeah, so maximum we can reach is 38. That's what I'm saying. Is 38. 37.5 or 38, right? Yeah, right. Yeah. So if I take only
Oh
purchase.
yeah, correct. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Correct. That,
Okay.
correct, yes.
Fine. Thanks.
So here also, so here you can see the question-wise analysis as well, right? I have gone into the environmental section and I have clicked on one of the question, right? So here you can see how many of your suppliers have answered this question and how many of your suppliers have not answered to this question. So this also you can look into, right? And here you can get the list of all of your suppliers and what all their responses are. Based on each and every category for environment, social and governance part. So yeah. So this was about the supplier assessment. Yeah.
Right. So we would be able to get reports, right? Like whoever is performing badly, right? All that is anyway system driven, right? Once that is done, again, action points the system doesn't do. Like we as consultants, we do it. Like what improvement can be done, or which, again, as I told you, which target group should we pick out of the lot, or should a change be in our own sustainability policies, right? Procurement policies on finding which should be better, so that in future we don't get contracts from certain people who have scored very low. So the
Say suppose I do not take any action.
Yeah.
I get the report.
Yeah.
So if those responses are there and I know that these are few suppliers where there is a scope of improvement, but I do not take any action with the suppliers.
Yeah.
And next, is it okay to me if I send back the questionnaire next year and then see what difference is there? Or the other option is that when I get the report, I send back to them suggesting that you please look into these areas and these are our suggestions to it.
Sir, the second point, right? We have done this a lot, right? So one company, they do a supplier day where they call out every single supplier they have, like at least the major ones, right? And they show them like with our scores, right? On the board, they show them ki you have performed like this sector, like for example, a real estate sector has performed like this. These contractors are good, they are fine. But these people have to improve, and they show what can be improved from the industry best practices. So that's the whole strategy bit also we did for them. But that is done. So that's the best way action course that is possible, right? But again, it's depending on company to company how they want to respond to it. But yeah, that is also done.
Regulation is not mandating a certain procedure to be followed once you have assessed. Right now, there is no comply or explain kind of a methodology. It's still a very corporate-driven mandate, and it's more.
So I tell you, Arav, like based on the FY20 to 23, we reached out to various suppliers last year. They submitted their responses based on their FY23 performance or whatever their standings were. Now, during that year, we knew that these are the kind of reports, these are the areas of improvement, but we never reached back to them. Now, this year when it comes to, again, the assessment part, what should be the kind of methodology that should be adopted in that case? So we have already, so for example, let's say out of 1,000, we have reached out to 300 odd suppliers. We got 100 odd responses, out of which 20 odd needs severe improvement. Yeah. So we didn't take any action beyond that. That's it. That's it.
Right.
Now this year, if we want to reach out to suppliers, so there could be one idea that you reach back to them again
Yeah,
and see what their score is as of now.
correct.
And the other is you send them the reports as well and get the answers on those reports, what actions they have taken.
We can very well do that. So each year it could be an evolving questionnaire. It
Yeah.
might not be static. And then a lot of times, if you don't have historical data, you could very well take 2 years to assess on the same template and then filter out, right? Like maybe 1 year data is too less to make a immediate judgment. Then you'll rely on 2 years data. But I don't think we are seeing a pattern with this, right? Where to the tune that a lot of this information exchange is absolutely not happening. People are just assessing and letting go. And some organizations that don't even have the BRSR mandate, and even international brands like H&M, they go very deep into supply chain. They will uplift the supplier. They'll run a lot of programs. So I think the priorities and why you want to do this as a corporate would matter more initial few years.
And at this
But
point
both
of
are
time,
possible,
it is
yeah.
also very important that the sanctity of whatever the responses you have
Correct.
got. You don't
Correct.
have any judgment.
The
on it.
ideal is that every assessment, there is an audit also, right, to the supplier, which in the textile industry HIG does. HIG is a tool, and then a lot of these smaller niche standards are there, right, for each industry. There's social audits, the SEDEX is very big there and all of that. But you'll have to, like, in a overall due diligence, either you hire diligence experts, right, who are doing supply chain diligence for you, going on ground, validating it. But here, that possibility of garbage in, garbage out is quite high. Where, yeah.
One thing you could do is assessment is one way to show the seriousness, but also setting a policy that this is what the organization is going to do, and we are in a due course of time, are in a, let's say whatever we are looking, and we will prefer vendors who have taken up carbon reduction goals or who have at least started disclosing that, right? And at least put that out, let it consume, let it sink in, and then start collecting data. So they don't know when you're going to implement it, but they do, but you have set up a policy also. So that might be first way to start.
A lot of companies do this for new business, like even with the same relationship, the new tender or the new business that will be given will have to go through an ESG criteria. The old can keep getting serviced for you.
One good example is there, Indian context, RT Industries. They offboarded, I think, 34 suppliers this year, the long-standing contractors, because they did not meet with their internal goals.
But I'm sure it happened over a few years after giving severe indications, you know. Yeah.
They can't take offboard it. Now you can apply for a revaluation only if you meet the current standard that we have.
This case was reported.
Correct. This is there. This is publicly reported. It's a very good case study for us.
Good, Naresh sir is here now.
Yeah. He has a question.
Yeah, okay.
Suppose one of my value chain partner is say company A, right? Now company A is emitting say 100 units of carbon, so and it is contributing say 4% in my value chain. So in an emission part I will report 4, right? Company A 4 is from my side, right?
No, you report the absolute number or the intensity number, but not like how much it's contributing to. That's a whole different.
So if
Yeah, that's almost like.
no, in BRSR core, in value chain partners, if my value chain partner company A is emitting say 100,
Huh.
okay, my share is based on the 2%, say 2 rupees ka share hai. So what I should report? 2, right?
No, 100. It is
100. Whatever they are
It's
reporting, I have same thing, I have to
correct,
copy
correct.
paste,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes. Your comparison is between like suppliers, not to you directly.
But
you can take that like that's a whole different. That's what Aro told. Like,
But
it's a
that's
whole
not my contribution. I mean, they might be emitting thousands of ton, but my contribution is
But are you reporting scope 3 numbers? Or
value chain partners.
Exactly. So
Scope 1 and 2.
are you reporting what information you've collected from value chain partners? Or
Okay.
are you reporting your scope 3 numbers? When it's your scope 3, then it will get counted.
No, I'm talking about BRSR core, scope 1 and 2 of my value chain partner.
Of your value chain partner. So then your share is not relevant. Right?
Their absolute
If you are
numbers.
reporting your numbers, then that gets transformed into how much you are buying, and that could be by percentage or how much the goods, the tonnage you procured, or
Okay.
any other factor.
So now when you are reporting in scope 3,
Yeah.
what is, you are reporting your scope 3 numbers. Within that scope 3, definitely those suppliers number come. So that's the percentage you will have to share.
Correct.
What's the share that is,
Yeah, that's
that belongs to you?
That will be there in your GG
Correct.
scope 3 metric.
Those are the kind of ways.
Scope 3 and due diligence, two different use cases, right? There you have to
Okay. So just to summarize, say for example, company A is disclosing we are emitting 10,000 units of carbon, okay, and my share is only 1%. I will also report in my BRSR for valuation 1,000 units, right? And Porsche cases they are mentioning 100. I will also mention 100. So just basically what they are reporting, same I have to report. No need to prorate or my contribution or thing
no
like
need to
that, right?
prorate. As of now, no regulations on prorating. You
Okay.
disclose them and you compare between two suppliers
Okay.
that you might want to change or something.
Okay.
So
And
that's
how
how
will
the
I
whole-
and how will I report? Say company A is my one valuation partner, company B is my valuation partner. In my annual report or BRSR,
That's what we were speaking. Right now, yeah, we still don't have a solution.
we have to say
that.
company A BRSR 9 attributes,
Correct.
company B
B
9
attributes. Like there are 9
like that.
attributes, 9
Okay.
attributes. So that's the problem, right? That was what I was telling. So
Okay.
if it's like 2 pages long and you have like 100, so 100 into 2, 200 pages
Yeah.
goes like this only.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the problem.
version which we've seen common is they'll put this much of this percentage of so and so suppliers were assessed. This was the performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Sakshi.
We are only required to give, as of now,
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Thank you, Harshita, for such an insightful conclusion for today's session. And before we officially wrap up, it's time for one of the most exciting part of the day, the award section. This is the moment to recognize and celebrate visionaries, change makers, and organizations who are leading their way in ESG, sustainability space, whether they have just started their journey, made remarkable progress, or achieved a milestone in driving sustainability. Their contribution inspire us all to strive for better and more sustainable future. To present this award, we will be acknowledgeable individuals from organizations that spirits the innovation, leadership, and responsibility in sustainability. These awards are testaments to their dedication and the tangible impact they are bringing. First, I would like to call Ms. Aarti Upadhyay from Balkrishna Tires and present them a Sustainability Steward Award. And I would also like to call Mr. Narendra Maripadi to award them. Congratulations, ma'am. Next, I would like to call Mr. Umesh Telang from Taj Sats to present an ESG Excellence Award. Mr. Umesh Telang. So, next, I would like to call Mr. Pankaj Barbin from Ajanta Pharma to present them ESG Excellence Award. And with them, I would like to call Ms. Prachi Gupte from Ajanta Pharma. Next, I would like to call Ms. Sheetal Agrawal from IIFL and present them a Sustainability Champion Award. Congratulations, ma'am. Next, I would like to call Mr. Sunil Kumar from ACG World and present them a Sustainability Champion Award. Next, I would like to call Ms. Swati Agrawal from CareEdge and present them a Sustainability Collaboration Award. Ms. Swati Agrawal. Next, I would like to call Ms. Sheetal Tapare from Raymond's Reality to present them a Sustainability Steward Award. Congratulations, ma'am. Next, I would like to call Ms. Divya Gaikwad from Fern Hotels Concept Hospitality to present them a Sustainability Steward Award. Congratulations, ma'am. Next, I would like to call Mr. Siddesh Desai from Glenmark Pharmaceuticals to present them a Net Zero Commitment Award. Congratulations, sir. Next, I would like to call Mr. Sandeep Mandot from Navin Fluoride International Limited to present them Net Zero Commitment Award. Congratulations, sir. Next, I would like to call Mr. Yashraj Bhoi from Shada Motors Industrial Limited to present them a Sustainability Champion Award. Next, I would like to call Mr. Rishikesh Shinde and Mr. Kundan Kishore from IndiGrid Trust and present them a Sustainability Visionary Award. Next, I would like to call Mr. Karthik Parikh from HDFC AMC to present them Sustainability Steward Award. Congratulations, sir. Next, I would like to call Ms. Arya Vyas from CRISIL to present them a Sustainability Collaboration Award. Thank you all for being such an amazing audience. Today, I would like to congratulate once again to all the awardees. Your work was not just an inspiration, but an guiding light to all of us striving to create a sustainable future. This brings us to the end of the today's event. I hope you all had an amazing and enriching, inspiring day. Let's take the learning and energy from today forward and we continue to our collective journey to a sustainability and growth. Thank you for being a part of Connect Season 4. Wish you all a wonderful evening. Thank you.
behalf of credible, credible name, N-Cube, we are giving our small, you are all agree, no? They did a wonderful job. Give a big hand. You should tell them. Yes, come. Yeah, good. Yes, you first आपके लिए. आप जाओ. Women led growth. Yeah. Yes. बाद में कम हो गए तो प्रॉब्लम नहीं. इधर को पहले लेना. क्या हुआ?
कुछ नहीं.
Big glass, huh? Congratulations, Adi. Anybody? Come, Hare. Abhi? Welcome. Anybody left out? आप ले? Okay, all out taken? I now request after whenever they conclude, please come to the main Emerald Hall. It will be followed by meditation and the award for around 26. It is become 32 awards, including ESG award and financial sector award, leadership award. So just and after that followed by dinner. So on behalf of N-Cube, I call all of you. Your current whatever engagement is not over. It will be over there. Please come. Thank you. Sushil over there. Oh, then you wrap it up. Okay. Yeah.
सरांना सांगते फोटो पाठवा सरांना पाठवते